Good evening, dear viewers of Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. First, our major stories. Prominent separatist leader Aacho Lucas is still behind bars in Norway. The arrest of the ADF commander has sparked mixed reactions among civil society and legal actors who say his arrest represents a significant strategic input in the armed conflict. Tonight, our newsroom focuses on who Aacho Lucas is, the circumstances that led to his arrest, and what is at stake at the moment. Away from that, more suspects have been arrested in connection to the recent attack by a gang of violent young persons identified as Microb in Bali and Bona prison neighborhoods. The suspects are renowned of attacking and terrorizing city dwellers while making away with their valuable items. Those are major stories. Stay with us for details and more. Good evening once more, and thank you so much for choosing Equinoxe Television. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. Aacho Lucas is known as one of the frontline separatist leaders spearheading the struggle for the independence of former British Southern Cameroon. The upcoming report, our reporter Babila Jonathan, gives us more information on who really is Aacho Lucas.
Born in August 1972, Aacho Lucas is an Ambazonian activist. He is the former Secretary General of the Southern Cameroon's Youth League and is the current leader of the Ambazonia Governing Council, a separatist organization in the former Southern Cameroons. Ayaba was expelled from the University of Buea in 1993 because he led a one-man demonstration against tuition increase. He has been on exile from Cameroon since then. He eventually ended up in Norway, where he studied human rights and development at the Norwegian University of Life Sciences, from where he has based his activism. In January 2017, Ayaba was allegedly targeted for assassination in Brussels, Belgium. As leader of the Ambazonian Governing Council, Ayaba and Chairman Benedict Kwa oversaw the creation of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, which carried out its first guerrilla action on September 9, 2017. This was the first armed action by Ambazonian separatists in what would become known as the Anglophone crisis. This happened 7 weeks before the interim government of Ambazonia was established and months before it endorsed an armed struggle. The Ambazonia Governing Council's relationship with the interim government was often strained. In March 2019, Aacho refused to attend the All Southern Cameroon's People's General Conference in Washington, D.C., calling some of the attendants enablers. During the 2019 Ambazonian leadership crisis, Ayaba supported Sisiko Julius Ayuktabe against Samuel Ikomesako. Ayaba argued that it was wrong to attack Ayuktabe, who had been in detention since January 2018. Aacho Lucas published the book Not Guilty, an African Refugee Experience, which is the journey of a black refugee through the complex and restrictive economic center of Fortress, Europe, as seen through the eyes of one person.
Babila Jonathan reporting there. Civil society and legal actors say the arrest of Aacho Lucas represents a significant and strategic input in the armed conflict in Anglophone regions of Cameroon, given his weight in the crisis. However, the possibility of an extradition in his case remains complex because of his German nationality and his long stay in Norway. We have details with Femi Armstrong Sander.
Symbolic, significant, crucial and strategic are some of the words used by Cameroonians in and out of the country to describe the arrest of Aacho Lucas. Barrister Salai Emmanuel, a leading legal voice in the fight against separatist leaders and their activities in the Anglophone regions, sees his arrest as significant.
Aacho Lucas's arrest marks a significant victory in the fight against terrorism and separatist violence in the conflict regions of Cameroon.
significant because of the wave of the man Aacho Lucas in the conflict.
Cho Lucas is the most dangerous separatist terrorist leader leading the most powerful separatist organization against Cameroon.
Accused of war crimes, crimes against humanity and the abuse of human rights, civil society and legal actors says his arrest sends a strong message to other actors in the conflict.
It also calls the attention of those hiding, wearing masks, to know that there is no stone that shall be left unturned. Any person trying to stand on the way of the genuine dialogue.
His apprehension sends a clear message. No one who sows terror and destruction in Cameroon will escape justice, no matter where they live.
We expect many more arrests, not necessarily in the coming days, but in the coming months.
While Aacho Lucas is remanded in custody in Norway, extradition in his case remains complex, though not impossible.
Extradition is a complex legal process, especially given that Aacho has a long-term residency in Norway and is actually also a German citizen. However, with sufficient evidence of his involvement in terrorism and crimes against humanity, and through continued cooperation with Norwegian authorities, it is possible that an extradition could be requested.
As opinions on the impact of his arrest diverge and converge, the urgent needs to stop hostilities and restore the dignity of human beings in the Anglophone northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon stands tall and indisputable.
And the following extract, a senior legal mind says Norway has a legal system closer to that of the common law system and that should not be undermined. He explains that the common law takes preference in solid investigations before arrest and does not exclude the possibility of their coming to the Cameroon territory. Listen to him in this following excerpt.
The legal system is like that of the Anglo-Saxon system, whereby before they arrest you, a thorough investigation must have been carried out without even your knowledge. And it is when once they come for you, it means they have proof beyond reasonable doubt that the offenses of which they're going to accuse you are founded. So I'm sure they've now established the fact that Aacho is a terrorist. I know with international offenses, he can be tried anywhere, in any country. And he can even be sent to the International Criminal Tribunal. But I believe his lawyers are going to fight for him to be tried in Norway, in Oslo, see where he was arrested. Norway signed the Treaty of Rome, whereby some offenses are considered as international offenses like terrorism and abuse, outright abuse of human rights. He's a champion, he's been noticed to be a champion of such an abuse and terrorism acts in Cameroon. Aacho thought that he was untouchable, so with all the foreign declarations we're making, he thought that impunity is going to reign. He thought that what he was saying is a semi-god that determines who lives and dies in the northwest region. At one point in time, that was what is in mind, because I remember he said, "Oh, if I knew, I should cut off the head of the chiefs." Can you imagine a human being saying that about other human beings? So whether you like it or not, those around him are going to be shaken and are going to be scared. And now they'll know that the rule of law is the rule of law, and it can happen to you at any time. Don't forget that we have victims in this country who would tear apart Aacho if they didn't get him. And I'm very certain there have been a group of guys who have been steadily sending proof of what Aacho has been, the atrocities been committed in Cameroon, to the Norwegian government.
Barrister Aacho Julius speaking there. Away from that, security forces in Tiko have arrested a suspect allegedly involved in the murder of a call box operator by name Innocent in Tiko subdivision, southwest region of Cameroon. Meanwhile, in Bamenda, which is a chief town of the northwest region, inhabitants of Meta quarters are mourning following the discovery of the lifeless body of a man in an uncompleted story building in the neighborhood. We have details with Smartjic and Gabriel.
The space of Innocent alias Santos is now empty at the Tiko roundabout. The lifeless body of Innocent was seen beneath a bridge in Tiko after he was allegedly assassinated by unknown people at his residence in Newtown, Tiko. It was a moody atmosphere that we met with the door of the room of Innocent locked. People around described Innocent as a good man. It's too aching to lose someone very serviceable like him, because whenever you stop at his kiosk, he is always readily available to serve you without complaining. We only pray that God will serve his assassins with justice. Gendarmes in Tiko are reported to have arrested one suspect linked to the death of Innocent. It should be recalled that Innocent was killed and his money taken away by his killers on his way to his house. At the Metaquarters neighborhood in Bamenda, it was the lifeless body of a man that was discovered in a still-to-be-completed story building. Many around the neighborhood say they knew the dead man as they usually spend time together with him. He's been with us for more than 20 years now. Whenever he is with us, he keeps us funky with his guitar, and we support him financially. He's my very good friend. When he is around, we play together and he sings. When he sings, we motivate him with money. For now, the cause of his death is not yet known, but close persons said before his demise, he was not very sound health-wise.
And over here in the city of Douala, more suspects have been arrested in connection to last Friday's attack by suspected bandits in neighborhoods like Bali and Bonaprizo here in Cameroon's economic capital city. A group of young boys identified as Microp are known for attacking and terrorizing city dwellers while making away with their belongings. Seri Chakucho comes back to that incident.
The 13 suspected bandits arrested by elements of the judicial police are accused to have terrorized the inhabitants of Bali and its environment and to have killed Blaise Iyongo in the Douala 1 subdivision. They were presented to the press here in Douala. The people of the area are still traumatized. Baban Serge, the 21-year-old, is accused to be the one that killed Blaise Iyongo. The inhabitants expressed their satisfaction after this action.
À 18h, nous on dormait, on fermait dans nos portes ici là. Donc ça n'allait pas. Même dans nos maisons, même, ils nous agressaient nous-mêmes. On ne dormait pas. Dans notre propre quartier, nous n'avions pas la paix. Nous ne pouvions pas entrer chez nous à plus de 20 heures. Donc c'est fatigant.
The governor says more stringent measures will be taken against those causing havoc in Douala.
It was good for us because this step, it is a judiciary step. We are just coming as those who are witnesses what have been done. So the procureur has just sent this mission to make it be known by everybody, because they are now at the end of the justice. They have to be judged. I told you first day that we caught 2 people, the other day 8 people, now there are 13 of them.
He again sends a strong message to those hiding criminals in their houses.
They have to educate the children. They have to show the children that when we are living in society, we have to respect each other. If you are a thief man, the prison is waiting for you. And there's no way to come and cry in front of the governor that my son has been caught. I'll tell you that it's not me, it's the law.
The governor of the littoral region has been relentless waging a war against insecurity in Douala.
We stay right here in the city of Douala, where a ravine with a depth of about 15 meters is exposing the population of Nyalatu in the Douala 3 subdivision at risk. Several houses around are said to have collapsed as a result of this ravine. Innocent Azer takes us to Nyalatu in his report.
This ravine that poses a death threat to inhabitants of Nyalatu in the Douala 3 subdivision
is formed from a small hole 15 years ago. Runoff from heavy rainfall gradually eroded the hole that eventually transformed into this monster pit. Today, it is wide and long, with a depth of about 15 meters. Houses that were built here collapsed. Even the church constructed here was abandoned by the man of God due to the risk.
L'érosion l'a chassé, il a abandonné.
Children have been falling here when they come to dispose deaths. It has disconnected two neighborhoods, Dallas and Kilimanjaro, found in Nyala too. We constructed several bridges here, but they were carried away by runoff. Without a bridge, it is difficult to leave Dallas and go to Kilimanjaro and vice versa. At the moment, only one bridge exists, used by the entire population. Business persons around take a great risk as they struggle to generate income for their well-being. I am scared because the ravine might swallow my shop as it enlarges in size. Just for my customers to come here, it is hell. They fall in the ravine. Some are compelled to go round. Though they have written complaints to municipal authorities, no concrete action has been taken so far. The Douala City Council sent a team on the site, but since then, no action was taken. We also wrote to the Douala 3 mayor, who reacted by trying to fill the ravine with trucks of laterite, but the remedy was short-lived. The third-class chief of Nyala 2, notables, and the population once again implore municipal authorities to quickly intervene with realistic life-saving action plans.
And now we take this sad note. The mortal remains of popular Cameroonian actress and comedian Ketchup Ogel, popularly known as Mammy Tong, who passed away about 2 weeks ago, has been removed from the Lakantini Hospital's mortuary today. The corpse removal took place in the presence of several artists and other comedians. The corpse removal of Mammy Tong was also done in the presence of the governor of the Littoral region, Samad Neva Diboa. Mammy Tong died at the Douala Referral Hospital following a cardiac arrest. The corpse was transported briefly to her residence in Dado, then to Paco Vita and Douala for a wake-keep. Mammy Tong will be laid to rest on Saturday in Loom. That is in the Mungo Division, Littoral region of Cameroon. That's it for this first part of the news. Talking Point is up next. Thank you so much for staying with us on the second part of the news. My guest tonight is a legal mind, Senior Barrister Aacho Emmanuel. Good evening, Barrister. It's a pleasure to have you on Talking Point tonight.
Good evening, Equinoxe Television. Glad to have you.
Senior Barrister Aacho Emmanuel, Aacho Lucas, a prominent separatist leader of the Separatist Governing Council, is reported by state media CRTV to have been arrested. What are your thoughts on this arrest?
1961, the Resolution 1608 of the United Nations granted independence to Southern Cameroon in its Article 2B by joining the Republic of Cameroon. Since then, that independence has been eroded, and today, Southern Cameroon has been twinned down into two regions, Northwest and Southwest. In 1917, taking advantage of social upheaval positioned by teachers and lawyers, separatists in the diaspora decided to restore the state of Southern Cameroon. The independence of the state of Southern Cameroon. But what they sought to restore was not the Southern Cameroons by joining the Republic of Cameroon, but this time they were out for total independence. That gave rise to Mr. Julius Ayuktabe, who was a moderate, But when he was arrested, extremists like Aacho Lucas sprung up, and it suffices to say that there is no such thing as the separatist governing council. You have several separatist groups, of which AGOV-C, which was championed by Aacho, was just one of them, and he is not even a majority stakeholder in that movement. So AGOV-C is Aacho's group, and his fighting unit is known as ADF. So what I make of it, I will say snake bite snake, because in the Ambazonian restoration movement, you have many people who are accusing Aacho of being a collaborator of the Cameroon government. They say it is the government that gives him, that supplies him with weapons and vehicles. And they ask him all the time, where are you fighting? We don't see your fighters. We only hear you reporting this operation has taken place in this place, but nobody sees your fighters. So for some time now, Mr. Aacho has been styled an international terrorist. So his arrest does not come to me as a surprise, especially as some 2 years ago, this man ordered that my head be cut off because he did not agree with me when I said Cameroon was not to be divided. So I am not surprised that he's arrested, because he is arrested for international crimes, crimes against humanity. People should not confuse this. He is not arrested for insurgency. He's arrested for crimes against humanity, and this can be prosecuted by any country in the world.
Now, Senior Barrister, can you explain to us the circumstances surrounding his arrest?
Well, Mr. Aacho, being a German national, is resident in Norway. So the Norwegian authorities know him very well. They know his whereabouts and they know where to find him. So it was like plucking a ripe fruit from a tree. His arrest was just like plucking a ripe fruit from the tree. There was no, well, he tried to resist, but we are told that he was just whisked off, and apparently must have confessed.
Lucas' arrest and potential conviction have on separatist fight on the struggle for independence of former English Southern Cameroon?
Well, the impact Mr. Aacho's arrest will have, primarily, we have the silencing of a major stakeholder. I mean, he was at least one of the persons who positioned himself. He styled himself as a leader, although we know that in the field he was not a leader, but he styled himself as a leader, and he was one of the persons who was giving the go-ahead for most of the burning of taxis, kidnappings, and all that. So, with his demise, with his let me say legal demise, we will expect that kidnappings will reduce, the burning of taxes will reduce. I mean, all those things that he used to do, which people were decrying, are going to reduce, because he was like a thorn in the flesh of his comrades who didn't appreciate most of the things that he stood for. Like, you ask people to paint all their doors and windows black and white. I don't know in which country in the world that obtains. You ask taxis to be painted black and white. Which is a country in this world that has taxis painted in its national colors? No. Certainly there was something wrong with this gentleman, and I think having put him out of the stage will have an impact in that the population will be better off, because this man seemed to be fighting the population instead of fighting the people he was claiming to fight against.
Now, is there a legal framework that can enable the extradition of Aacho into Cameroon despite his German nationality?
Yes, there is a law in Norway that deals with extradition, and going by the dictates of that law, it is possible to try any person who commits an offense in any country that is complainant. If you commit part or all of an offense in a country that is complainant, you can be extradited to that country. But in his case here, let me say that it will not be possible for him to be extradited because there are some provisions of the Norwegian law which provide that if the person to be extradited will be punished, or it will be punishable by death sentence in the country where he has to be extradited, then extradition will not be granted. In Cameroon, the law on terrorism, which is what they will certainly apply, punishes criminals by death sentence. So you see that in his own case, I don't think he can be extradited.
We saw the case of Sisiku Ayuk-Tabi and co, who were brought to Cameroon and later imprisoned. Do you think this arrest is a kind of diplomatic maneuver between Cameroon and Norway, as it was a case with Cameroon and Nigeria?
Well, it is not possible because when you go, if you go through the Norwegian law, you see that for such an initiative to exist, it ought to be diplomatic. And for that diplomatic initiative to exist, there has to be a prior warrant, a prior complaint in Cameroon that is backed up by a warrant of arrest. That is the only thing that can trigger off prosecutions in Norway at the request of Cameroon. But I don't think any of that ever existed because we've never seen any international warrant of arrest that has been issued against Aacho by Cameroonian authorities.
Do you think the arrest of Ayabacho Lucas is a breakthrough as far as the fight against pro-independence fighters is concerned?
It is certainly a breakthrough. It's certainly a stop to impunity because these fellows were actually behaving like total outlaws. I mean, you catch people, take monies from them, carry out public executions, public extrajudicial executions. I mean, it was very horrible. If you look at what happened in Guzang, sometimes they caught some two men, put outside and shot them. No, it's terrible. Any person who is styled a black leg is executed. No. You see, they don't respect anything. The Geneva Convention does not permit that. Even if he's a war criminal, you have to treat him as such. But there is a problem here. Because internationally, Cameroon has never accepted that there is any civil war going on in Cameroon. So we have this problem. When you now catch Mr. Ayabacho and you are taking him to a court of law, be it even in Norway, the problem will arise. Okay, this man committed all these offenses. In what context? And if our government were to go there to say there's a crisis, but you have always said there's no crisis. So it would be like trying to assert what you have been denying all the time. And in fact, I will not be surprised if this man is acquitted at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Senior Barrister Aacho, for accepting my invitation.
You're welcome. I'm the one to thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to the viewers of Equinoxe Television.
That's it for this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your keen attention. Coming up in some few minutes is Equinoxe Soir with Serge Alain Otou. See you tomorrow, same time, God willing. Bye-bye for now.